Hey, what's going on, y'all? Welcome back to my page, Beyond the Scoreboard 215. What I wanted to do today was drop my predictions for week 3 in the NFL. So I'm just going to get right into it. Tonight, we have the Patriots going over to the Jets. I believe the Jets are going to pull that win off. I believe the score is going to be 24-19. If you ask my cousin, he thinks the Patriots are going to win, but he's a diehard Patriots fan, so it is what it is. I have Aaron Rodgers going for 210 passing yards, one touchdown and one interception. I have Brees Hall rushing for at least 85 yards and one touchdown. Ramondre Stevenson, I have him rushing for over 100 yards with one touchdown. Jacoby Brissett, I have him passing for at least 190 yards with one touchdown and one interception. Sunday, we have the 0-2 Giants going to Cleveland to face off against the Browns. Right now, the Browns are 1-1. I do have the Browns picking up that victory 22-13, having the Giants start the NFL season 0-3. I think that score, I believe I said, is going to be 22-13. Deshaun Watson, I have him passing for under 240 yards with two touchdowns. Nick Chubb, I have him rushing for at least 95 yards and one touchdown. Daniel Jones, I'm going to have him passing under 210 yards for one touchdown and two interceptions. And Devin Singletary, I have him rushing for over 75 yards and one touchdown. Next, we have the Packers heading over to Tennessee. The Packers right now are 1-1. The Titans are 2-0. I do actually have the Packers coming off with this victory, 21-16. Jordan Love is currently out. I'm not sure when he returns, but I believe Malik Willis is going to be playing for him. So I have Malik Willis going for 195 passing yards, two touchdowns, and one interception. Josh Jacobs going for rushing for 90 yards and one touchdown. Will Levis, I have him passing for 160 yards and one touchdown and one interception. And Tony Pollard, formerly from the Cowboys, I have him rushing for under 70 yards, possibly a touchdown, just depending on if he can get open, get some extra yards. I have the Bears right now, 1-1, going into Indy, who is 2-0. I do have the Colts pulling out that victory also. The Colts, I believe they're going to win 20-17. Anthony Richardson, I think he's going to throw for 230 passing yards and rush for an additional 50 yards for a rushing touchdown. I have Caleb Williams passing for 190 yards, one touchdown, one interception. Khalil Herbert rushing for 65 yards along with a touchdown. Jonathan Taylor, I have him rushing for 80 yards and a touchdown. My biggest thing, I would say look out for Alec Pierce. He's been blowing it out the park this year. I have him going for 90 yards, 90 receiving yards and a touchdown. Next, we have two undefeated teams. We have the Texans, who are 2-0, and the Vikings, 2-0. I believe the Vikings are going to win that one in a closely contested game, 26-24. I have Sam Darnold going for 240 passing yards and two touchdowns. Justin Jefferson, I'm not sure if he's going to play. I haven't checked the reports yet. But if he does play, I have him going for over 100 receiving yards and one touchdown. CJ Stroud, he had a phenomenal rookie season, and I think that's still going to take effect this year. I have him going for 260 passing yards, two touchdowns, and maybe one interception. Damian Pierce, he had an okay season last year. This year, he just hasn't shown up. I have him only rushing for 25 yards. The Eagles are going to take on the Saints. The Eagles head down to New Orleans. I'm a diehard Eagles fan, so I definitely think Eagles are going to pull that win out. Even though the Saints have put up 91 points, correct me if I'm wrong, somebody, in the past two games. I think the key to that game is just stopping Alvin Kamara, not getting him going running, because once he gets going, it's hard to get him to stop. I have Jalen Hurts passing for 210 yards, two passing touchdowns, one receiving, two passing touchdowns, and one rushing touchdown for another 50 yards. I don't believe A.J. Brown is going to play this week, but I do have Devontae Smith going for 90 receiving yards and one touchdown. I have Saquon Barkley rushing for at least 75 yards and a touchdown, and maybe another touchdown if we get him going on a good screen pass. But who knows? Derek Carr, I have him going for 270 passing yards, two touchdowns, and one interception. Alvin Kamara, like I said, if he gets going, he's going to get going. But I have him going for 75 rushing yards and one rushing touchdown. We have another 2-0 team going against each other. We have the Chargers going up to Pittsburgh. I do have the Chargers coming out with that game, and I believe it's going to be a very close game. I have it going 20-19. Justin Herbert, I have him going for 155 passing yards and one touchdown and 30 rushing yards. J.K. Dobbins, I have him rushing for at least 125 yards again in this game. I believe the last two games he's rushed for over 130. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but he could start the season with three games in a row with over 125 rushing yards. And I believe he's going to have a touchdown also. Justin Fields, I have him passing for 225 yards along with two touchdowns and one interception. Najee Harris, I have him rushing for 60 yards and one touchdown. Then I have the Broncos going down to Tampa Bay. I have Tampa Bay winning that game 27-17. Baker Mayfield has been real good this year. He has two good receivers in Chris Godwin and Mike Evans. So I believe he's going for 275 passing yards this game and two touchdowns, no interceptions. I believe one of the touchdowns is going to Mike Evans. I believe the other one is going to go to Chris Godwin. I have Mike Evans going for at least 100 receiving yards along with that one touchdown, and Chris Godwin going for at least 60 maybe. Bo Nix, I have him passing for 185 yards, one touchdown, one interception. Javonte Williams, I have him rushing for at least 50 yards and one touchdown. Next, we have the Panthers, who are 0-2, going over to Oakland. I guess the Raiders, who are 1-1. I have the Raiders pulling off that game 28-14. Gardner Minshew, he's been on a mission this year with Devontae Adams and Brock Bowers. So I have him going for 240 passing yards and two touchdowns, and along with one rushing touchdown. I believe Devontae Adams is going to go for at least 75 receiving yards and one touchdown. And also Brock Bowers, I believe he's going for at least 95 and a touchdown. Also, I believe Jameer White, their running back, is going to rush for at least 80 yards and a touchdown. Andy Dalton, I believe he's going to throw for 220 passing yards, one touchdown and one interception. And Chuba Hubbard, I'm going to have him rushing for 55 yards and one touchdown. The next game is going to be the Miami going over to Seattle. Miami's right now is 1-1, and Seattle is 2-0. I do have Seattle keeping that undefeated streak going. I have them pulling off the game 24-20. I have Geno Smith throwing up 250 passing yards for two touchdowns. I have DK Metcalf, 85 receiving yards and one touchdown. I have Skylar Thompson, who is filling in for Tua Tagovailoa. I don't know much about him, not going to lie, so I have him throwing up for 155 passing yards and one touchdown and one interception. Also, I have Devon Achane rushing for at least 105 yards and one touchdown. He's been phenomenal this year, so I think he's going to continue his rushing yards. We have the 0-2 Ravens going to Dallas, who's currently 1-1. I do have the Ravens pulling off that victory. I have my score 30-24. I have Lamar Jackson passing for 250 yards on two touchdowns and rushing for an additional 60 yards if he can get going on the ground, which he normally does. And I have some of those rushing yards going for a touchdown. Derrick Henry, I have him rushing for at least 90 yards and one touchdown. Mark Andrews hasn't really shown up this year, so I think this might be the game where he gets a touchdown and at least 60 receiving yards. Dak Prescott, I have him going for 250 passing yards, two touchdowns, and one interception. And Zeke, I have him rushing for 80 rushing yards and one touchdown. And then I have the 49ers going over to the Rams. The 49ers right now are 1-1, and the Rams are 0-2. I think the 49ers are just going to continue to dominate the NFC West. I have them winning that game 26-19. Brock Purdy, I have him putting up 260 yards passing with 2 touchdowns. Jordan Mason, he's filling in for CMC because of his injury. So I have him rushing for at least 110 yards and 1 touchdown. Matt Stafford, I have him passing for at least 230 yards and 1 touchdown and 1 interception. I have Kyron Williams rushing for at least 70 rushing yards. And then we have the Lions, who are 1-1 right now. I have them going over to the Cardinals. I think they're going to bounce back after their loss, and they're going to beat the Cardinals 23-18. Jared Goff, I think he's going to have 240 yards and 1 touchdown. Amon St. Brown, I think he's going to pull off about 80 receiving yards, possibly a touchdown. Kyler Murray, I think he's going to go for 230 passing yards and 2 touchdowns. The issue right now is I'm thinking about is Marvin Harrison Jr. His first game, I believe he only had 5, maybe 10 yards receiving, and then the last game he had 4 receiving yards, four receptions, for 130 yards. So I don't know what's going to happen this game. I do have him going for 75 receiving yards and a touchdown. Then we have the Chiefs, who are 2-0, going down to Atlanta. I have the Chiefs winning this game 28-21. I think Patrick Mahomes is going to put up 320 passing yards along with 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Travis Kelce hasn't shown up at all for the past 2 games. I think this might be his game. I have him going for at least 100 yards receiving and 1 touchdown. Kirk Cousins, I have him passing for 210 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception. And Bijan Robinson, I have him rushing for 75 touchdowns. 75 touchdowns. 75 rushing yards and 1 touchdown. Monday night we have a doubleheader. We have the Jaguars, who are 0-2, going up to Buffalo, who are 2-0. I think Buffalo's going to pull out that victory 30-27. Josh Allen's going to throw for 280 passing yards and 3 touchdowns. Khalil Shakur, I have him going for 50 receiving yards and 1 touchdown. Excuse me. James Cook, he had 3 touchdowns last game. I have him going for another rushing touchdown for and have at least 80 rushing yards and a receiving touchdown for 20 to 30 receiving yards. And then Travis Etienne, I have him rushing for 50 yards. And then Trevor Lawrence, I have him passing for 240 yards and 1 touchdown and 1 interception. And then the last game of Monday night, I have the Commanders going over to Cincinnati. Right now, the Commanders are 1-1, and they're going against the 0-2 Bengals. I do have Joe Burrow and the Bengals pulling out that victory, 31-21. I think Joe Burrow is going to throw for at least 300 yards and have 3 touchdowns. Jamar Chase, I feel like he's going to have a good game against the Commanders' defense. He's going to push up 120 receiving yards and a touchdown. And then Jaden McDaniels, I have him going for 200 passing yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception. And then also Brian Robinson, I have him rushing for at least 70 to 75 rushing yards and a touchdown. So my plan is with this is to post at least 2 videos a week. I'm going to do a recap of the week in the NFL compared to what my predictions were, and then also do a predictions for the following week. Thank you for everybody who's subscribed to my channel already. Let's get in the comments. Let's talk about what you guys think about my predictions. Let me know if you would change anything. And let's just talk football. Let's keep it going. Like and subscribe and share my page. Thanks so much, you guys.